Once again, you're copying data from Power BI into Excel before your Monday morning meeting. But what if your spreadsheet could just update itself? Keep the same formatting, the same layout, just with updated data. In this video, I'm going to show you the one click that means that your Monday morning could be absolutely sorted. So let's start here. I have a Power BI report open in my app view in the browser, and it has data that you need, but you need it in Excel for a report, an email, a presentation. So you start typing East 133, North 247, hoping that you're going to get all those numbers right. Or maybe actually you use the three dots here and export. But are you exporting something static or something that actually can update? Because the option here that you can choose, well, that's going to change everything that happens next. Most people actually just click export and take the first option, data with current layout. And it works. You get a nice clean table and the numbers look right. You format it, drop it into an email or your board pack, and that feels like job done. And then a week later, the data in Power BI is updated and your spreadsheet has not. So you open Power BI, click the three dots again, export again, reformat again, and then the next Monday, again. See, that's the trap. Every single export is a snapshot, and it's actually already going stale the moment that you're closing the file. But there's another option that just most people never look at. So if we switch from data with current layout to summarized data, a new option appears with live connection. And that changes everything. Because with Excel, this is not just a copy, it's not a snapshot, it's actually connected back to the Power BI data itself. Choosing the right option is the key to making sure that then you get the right file. But what if when you open it, you actually don't see any data straight away? That's where most people give up. Because if you don't know why there's no data, you're just going to close the file and go back to copying. You don't really have time to investigate and try and figure out why. But there is a warning up at the top. See, it's not broken. Excel by default blocks external connections. It does that to protect you from files that you didn't create. And the live link back to Power BI counts as an external connection. For a file that you've exported yourself from a Power BI within your organization, you're safe to click through these. It'll come in as a flat table, and I know that might not be exactly what you were looking at before, but it is what you want because now you can build around it. You can format it for your board pack or add a pivot table or combine it with other data sources. Now, you just need to make sure that this connected table here stays intact and the other sheets in the file just reference back to it. Now, the formatting I have done here is a terrible job, but for this example, that's fine because the key thing that you just need to see is that we're just doing it once. Whatever you now set up is exactly as it's going to stay. After your formatting, you've probably used the data and you probably just close your spreadsheet and just dread next Monday knowing that you're going to have to do that all over again. Now, this is the big change because here in Power BI, I've now fast forwarded to next week. The new data is in. So now what I could have done is gone to export and gone through all my steps again. Instead, I go back to the Excel file that I was using, the same one with the awful formatting, and I go to the data ribbon, and all I had to do is click refresh. The numbers are now going to update, but that bold header and the colors are still all there. Column widths have shifted, but I'm going to come back to that. The first hurdle is done. The data is updated. Hitting refresh has saved you an absolute chunk of next Monday, but those column widths, that's going to be a problem, right? Because if you're putting it into a board pack or your team meeting, formatting really matters. But the whole point of this was that you didn't have to keep redoing it. And this catches people out because in Excel, it just assumes that you want to adapt your layout to the new data, not keep it fixed. So every time you could end up having to resize columns to fit. But right beside refresh, there's actually a small button that holds the answer to my formatting. That properties option is how I can control how the refresh behaves, including whether the column widths adjust. Once I change that, all of my formatting now is going to stay what I set it. And now the refresh, the data, nothing else is going to move. But all of this is assuming that you've been able to get to the right export option. Because if you went to that menu and the live connection option was grayed out, don't think that you're going to be stuck with the manual approach for life. Actually, it's just a really small little change that's done on the report side, and it's really simple and easy to ask for. I'll quickly show you here what exactly the report owner needs to do so that nobody's left guessing. The first thing you're going to look for is build permissions. This is what lets you connect to the data rather than just view it. The second is just that the export option itself needs to be switched on in the report settings. See, most report owners don't think that that needs to be set up because they don't know that anyone would find it useful. So what you can do is even just share this video with them, and that way they're going to be able to see exactly how and what you need that settings turned on for. And the thing is that once it's switched on for that report, that's it. You only need to do it the once. And that will allow you to now refresh every single week. So now you've got a spreadsheet that updates itself from Power BI. You're not having to copy numbers or export it and reformat it every single Monday. But the report that you're pulling from, does it actually open the way you really need it? Because see, most people assume that when they open a report, the normal thing to do is have to reset all the filters. And they don't realize that actually you can save a view so that when you open a report, it opens exactly the way you need it every single time. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that.